Join me on my Muker walk in the Yorkshire Dales, where I explore Currack Force, Wain Force and Kisdon Force. From the Muker Literary Institute, I'll head uphill and take a route signposted to Keld. The lane climbs, bends left and zigzags steeply upwards. I'll take a left, then a right, following the bridleway north up a steep grassy incline. As the path rises, it curves left, passing a memorial stone. At 490 metres, the trail levels out before descending gently. Bending north, the grassy track meets a stony path, which I'll follow around the west side of Kisdon. Near the bottom, a right turn leads to a path that climbs briefly before dropping steeply. A gate in the bottom left corner of the field marks the way forward. Joining the Pennine Way, I'll turn right onto a concrete track. At the bottom, a bridge over the River Swale leads to East Gill Force. The path climbs before turning left, continuing through a farm reaching a fork, where it's left again. A descent leads to Currack Force, before joining a minor road and dropping to the main road. A short walk along the road leads to Wath Force. Retracing my steps past Currack Force, I'll cross back over the River Swale and follow the track uphill to rejoin the Pennine Way. A sign for Kisdon Force Waterfall marks the way down before returning to the main trail. From here, I'll turn left towards Muker, passing through Rookin Wood before emerging into open countryside. The descent passes dry stone walls and old barns as the valley widens towards the River Swale. Approaching Ramp's Home Bridge, I'll turn right through a gate towards Muker. The final stretch follows a flagged stone path through hay meadows, leading back to the village. Visit paulbeal.com for information about my walk. Just follow the link or scan the QR code shown on the screen. My website offers route directions, maps, navigational tools, walk statistics, parking advice, photos and much more. After leaving the car park, I start my Muker walk by crossing the bridge over Straw Beck and heading into the village. I pass the first few cottages and walk up the bank in front of the Muker Literary Institute. Then I take an immediate right. The Muker Literary Institute was built in the 1860s as a reading room for local people. Funded by public subscription for around £260, it housed over 600 books, showing how much education was valued by the working community. Before leaving the village, I take a quick detour to visit Muker Public Hall and St Mary's Church. The hall, built in 1922 and refurbished in 1997, has been a vital part of the community for years. St Mary's Church, built in 1580, replaced an earlier Chapel of Ease connected to St Andrew's Church in Grinton. Before then, all baptisms, weddings and funerals had to take place in Grinton. A few minutes outside the village, I reach a fantastic viewpoint. Sheep graze in the foreground, an old stone barn stands in the middle, and behind it, the steep slopes of Ivelet Side rise to Beal Hill. As I climb towards Kisdon, I look back at Muker. Sunlight breaks through the clouds, lighting up Swaledale's patchwork of green fields, framed by the slopes of Muker Side and Oxnap Side. I follow the zigzagging track uphill. From here, I can see the River Swale winding through the valley, with Blee Bath on Crackpot Moor in the background. Further up, I get a view of Hood Rig, Little Shunner Fell and Great Shunner Fell. Small patches of snow still cling onto the slopes of Great Shunner Fell, the furthest of these three peaks. The scene is classic Yorkshire traditional farmhouses, stone barns and dry stone walls lining the hillside. Great Shunner Fell, with its patches of snow, stands out in the background. After the steep climb out of Muker, the track levels out slightly near a farm. But I know it won't last. Another steep incline is on the way. As I keep climbing, the River Swale is now clearly visible below. I can see Ivelet Wood on the steep slopes of Ivelet Side, with the rugged outcrops of Ivelet Broads standing out on Beal Hill. I reach the highest point of my walk at 490 metres. A grassy path stretches across the hillside. I don't go to Kisdon's 499-metre summit, but instead follow a route around the southern and western slopes before heading towards Keld. The track descends gently along Kisdon's southwestern slopes. The scenery is beautiful. The details of the route are on my website, paulbeal.com. Further down, I get a stunning view of three high fells on the horizon: Lovely Seat, Hood Rig and Little Shunner Fell. As I descend northwards, I pass a farm and communications tower on my right, tucked into the hillside. Looking left, I spot the hamlets of Angram and Eagle across the valley. Below them, a stream meanders south along the valley floor. The track gets steeper as it nears the road. Just before reaching it, I see a moss-covered barn with a slate roof over the wall on my left, marking the intersection. I now follow the public footpath along Kisdon's northern slopes. Ahead, I see the road into Keld, with the rooftops of the village appearing beyond the farm buildings. The path follows a dry stone wall. It's undulating and a bit tiring, but the views make it all worthwhile. As I walk towards Keld, I hear the River Swale rushing through the valley. Across the valley, I see the limestone cliff above Kisdon Force. I follow a cobbled track downhill towards the River Swale. The cobbles seem designed for a cart or vehicle wheels from the past. At the bottom, I reach a footbridge and cross the River Swale. I take a moment to enjoy the views both upstream and downstream. Looking up and down the river, I admire how it carves through the valley. It's a peaceful spot to take in the beauty of the Yorkshire Dales. On the other side, I find a stunning set of waterfalls near East Stonesdale. The cascade, formed by East Gill, is sometimes called East Gill Force. I follow the track uphill beside the waterfalls and reach a grassy clearing with 2 benches. A perfect place for lunch. Leaving the waterfalls, I continue west. Keld is now clearly visible on the south side of the valley, with the River Swale running through it. The track runs along the hillside on the north side of the River Swale, leading me towards Currack Force. I reach a bridge and see Currack Force just to my left. The waterfall is formed by Stonesdale Beck as it flows into the River Swale. After visiting Currack Force, I take a minor road down to Park Bridge. From the bridge, I get a great upstream view of the River Swale. At the bottom of the road, I briefly follow the B6270 before turning off to visit Wain Wath Force. The path to the falls is through a gate on the right. Wain Wath Force has a modest drop of about 1.5 metres. Many waterfalls in northern England have names ending in force, from the Old Norse word foss, meaning waterfall. After spending time at Wain Wath Force, I retrace my steps along the B6270, rejoining the road over Park Bridge. I pass covered yurts standing out against the landscape. I head back towards Currack Force. Walking in the opposite direction offers a fresh perspective and new views. Back at East Gill Falls, I notice the benches above the falls are now empty, so I stop for a coffee. The path to Kisdon Force is narrow, stony and muddy. It's best tackled in dry weather, as it can be slippery when wet. The route down is interesting, passing a striking rock feature, a vertical slab that has fractured away, likely due to freeze-thaw weathering. Further down, I see Beldy Hill on the other side of the River Swale, with its limestone cliff overlooking Kisdon Force. Halfway down, I reach a grassy area and get my first proper look at Kisdon Force. The next section of the descent is tricky, especially in wet conditions. The steep descent is absolutely worth it. From the bottom, I can see Kisdon Force in full. It's one of several waterfalls in the Keld area, including East Gill Force, Currack Force and Wain Wath Force. Experienced canoeists sometimes tackle both drops of Kisdon Force, though it requires great skill. The falls have a total drop of 10 metres, around 33 feet. I climb back up to rejoin the main route through Rookin Wood. The moss-covered dry stone walls give the area an almost mystical feel. Emerging from Rookin Wood, I pass an abandoned farmhouse and wonder about the people who once lived there. Descending further, the River Swale appears below, with Black Hill rising in the background. I reach the valley floor and follow a grassy path through fields dotted with stone barns. Now by the River Swale, I continue walking along its banks. The River Swale, known for its fast flow, gives its name to Swaledale. I approach Ramp's Home Bridge but don't cross it. Instead, I turn right into Muker's famous hay meadows. These traditional hay meadows are among the best in the Yorkshire Dales and are a designated site of special scientific interest. The cut grass and wildflowers are turned into hay to feed livestock through winter. This is one of the last places in Swaledale where cattle are still housed traditionally. Looking back, I admire the landscape of fields and barns. These barns were part of a unique farming system dating back to the 17th century. Cattle were housed in winter and fed hay, while their muck fertilised the next season's crop. It's been an incredible walk through stunning landscapes and rich history. As I return to Muker, I take one last look at the fields and hills. I know I'll be back.